welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Allison Maloney along with Bob Sellers. Before the break, our White House correspondent Emerald Robinson sat down with Kentucky Senator Rand Paul in an exclusive interview discussing Dr. Fauci's emails and the origin of coronavirus. And we want to bring Emerald back in to chat with and get their take of what they heard. Jesse Jane, I want to start with you. Obviously, a very interesting and great interview. I think the biggest question here is, should Dr. Fauci be fired based on, what Senator Rand Paul was saying, as well as those emails that we've been seeing?
Well, this is so upsetting to the American people to find out that this narrative has controlled literally shutting down our entire economy. I mean, we have heard contradicting information after contradicting information, even from the CDC, that it wasn't 6 feet away, it's 3 feet away. We've heard the mask, double mask, no mask, everything. Dr. Fauci has been incredibly irresponsible. What I would like to know from Emerald, did she have an opportunity to ask him about the emails that had gone between Zuckerberg and Fauci that indicate that Facebook was deeply involved in censoring the message about this virus and that it came from the Wuhan labs?
Emerald?
I actually did not get to ask Senator Paul about that because we were on a limited amount of time. But clearly that is, and I was censured for a year and a half ago almost, talking about the origins of this virus. Look, what we do know is that Dr. Fauci was out there again today on MSNBC trying to backtrack, trying to say he never totally discredited this, but still trying to suggest that it was not a man-made virus, and that this is a narrative of political politics or partisan politics. But he is clearly a little bit nervous about what's going on. He's not as composed when he does these interviews like he did with Chuck Todd on MSNBC today. Jesse.
Yeah, Derrick, President Trump in office, and how things would be very different. Even a lot of the media outlets have, kind of just, shunned it away.
Absolutely. What's upsetting to me the most is just how misleading and hypocrisy coming from Dr. Fauci. And so even going before Congress and outright not telling the truth about the numbers in terms of how much funding went to the Wuhan, to this clinic out there. And so I've had the opportunity to testify before Congress a couple of times. And you have to swear to tell the truth. You have to sign a truth and testimony form before you even go before Congress. So I don't understand him being a government and federal employee, being able to go and lie before Congress and not be held accountable for it and still have a job.
Yeah, Isabel, I want to get your reactions to that, because Senator Rand Paul has been very critical of Fauci for a while now. As Derrick just mentioned, I want to get your reaction to that.
He has been critical, but that criticism is not unfounded. Let's not forget that Senator Rand Paul is not just a senator, but Dr. Rand Paul as well. He's a prominent member of the scientific community and is reminding Americans from all backgrounds and all walks of life that science is not about a political or partisan narrative determined day by day by the loudest voices, but rather about asking as many questions as we possibly can, answering those questions appropriately, and then coming to a conclusion, rather than establishing your facts up front and fitting the data to fit that particular narrative. Unfortunately, science has gone the way of Dr. Fauci very much so in the last year or so. And in fact, recently in an interview, he criticized anyone questioning recently. Wrong. You are upholding science if you are doing so. And ultimately, I think there's a lot more questions that have arisen in the last few days with these emails coming out, with this interview with Senator Paul, which I found fantastic, Emerald, and any particular interviews that Dr. Fauci may do in the next coming days.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, if I may, because Isabel is right, is that these are not unfounded, but it's also not new in that Dr. Fauci, far back, let's say, I played a clip today earlier, 2003, there was a caller into C-SPAN suggesting that he resigned. This was a medical professional from North Carolina who was critical of the guidance that he gave during a outbreak then. So Dr. Fauci has faced a lot of criticism in the past, but he's just been a media darling through this, and they've never pulled up his past statements or the criticisms for how he handled pandemics in the past.
Yeah. All right. Well, Emerald, a great interview as always. Thank you so much for sticking with us in the panel. Everyone else, stand by. We'll be right back.